JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. If this is your first time checking out a video, please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really, really does help with the visibility in the algorithm, and it's one of the best ways to support the channel. Without further ado, let's get to it. We're watching a clip of Undisputed talking about whether or not the Eagles or the Cowboys should pursue Saquon Barkley in free agency. I guess apparently Skip is saying that if the Cowboys sign Saquon Barkley before the Eagles, they will dominate the NFL. Okay. That is so absurd and insane for so many reasons, but I want to see what they have to say first before I go on a nice little rant. I want to see, what Skip's logic is behind this, because if they didn't dominate the NFL with Ezekiel Elliott, I'm not so sure that they're going to be dominating. And that was when he was in his prime. When, if they're going to be able to do it with Saquon Barkley, who's constantly banged up, injured. And don't get me wrong, the Cowboys will be a better team and will be good, but dominate the NFL, that is way too strong. Also, if you're Saquon, I don't know why you would even want to go to Dallas, honestly.
Vacchiano of Fox Sports sources indicated that the Eagles, quote unquote, might take a swing at Saquon Barkley. Vacchiano added that while the Eagles aren't expected to go crazy with their offer for Barkley, they could be an option if he doesn't get the types of contract offers he is expecting. So, Keyshawn, would Saquon make the Eagles division favorites?
I think without Saquon Barkley in the lineup, the Eagles, by some people, might be division favorites. But you add him to your lineup.
They are the favorites.
They'll probably creep right back to the top. DeAndre Swift is a free agent. So when you get a dual threat like Saquon Barkley, a guy who can catch the ball out of the backfield, can also run between the tackles on the perimeter, he gives you a lot, Skip. I know you're not a favor of him. You don't like him. You don't think he's all that, because if you play bad or your team loses to the Dallas Cowboys, which means that even though your offensive line is not very good, they're not very good. That's the way you look at things. And I think if he goes over there and with their running game and how they like to run the football, with also a quarterback in Jalen Hurts, who's probably going to be healthy, who can run the football, we saw them run their way into a Super Bowl.
They did.
Could have very well beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
You add him to the mix, this is a little bit different than DeAndre Swift. I forgot that he is from the area. I forgot he was from the PA area. Totally forgot about that. They can make it happen. Now, if he goes there, he's probably not looking to set the market at quarterback and all those sort of things, because they don't want to spend the type of money at the running back position. It'll be some sort of mutual agreement on a team-friendly deal. You may not be scared of him as far as the Dallas Cowboys go, because you don't think he's all that good anyway. But he fits perfect for the Philadelphia Eagles and what they want to do. Perfect for them. I think they're going to be something to be reckoned with in the NFC East.
Okay. I'm going to give you this. He's better than DeAndre Swift, who is not bad, but he didn't scare me at all. But neither does Saquon.
Okay.
Because Saquon, to me, and again, I am a prisoner of moments against the Giants, another division rival of ours, but I saw him 10 times against my Dallas Cowboys. We won every one of those games with the leakiest run defense in pro football, because
with Daniel
he is
Jones
a
as the
luxury
quarterback.
back. He is more icing than he is cake. He does not run consistently hard or consistently effectively between the tackles, like you say.
If I'm getting hit in the backfield, Skip, as soon as I touch the football, what are you talking about?
All right. Well,
I can't do anything. As soon as I touch it, I'm getting hit. My offensive line is poor.
You want to talk about poor as in poor us? Poor us, P-O-R-O-U-S, and poor us, P-O-O-R-U-S, as in us. Our run defense, we don't stop anybody. We went to Arizona and they ran us off the field. We went to Buffalo and they ran us all the way back to Dallas.
Because their offensive linemen were killing y'all.
Right. So this is the guy who lost all 10 games to the Dallas Cowboys. This is the guy who went over 100 yards twice in 10 games. This is the guy who in those 200-yard games had a 68-yarder and a 59-yarder in the other game. Let me finish. So this is the guy who in a game going over 100 had a 68-yarder, and on all the other carries, he averaged 2.6 yards per carry. I've told you again and again, this is the classic case of the home run hitter who's going to lead the league in strikeouts, as in none-yard carries, and is going to bat about 220 because he'll get you every once in a while. He's going to hit a home run, and you will get blinded by the highlights. Oh, that's Saquon. He's unbelievable. Did you see that?
Blinded by the highlights.
Yeah.
When I've watched him from college and all throughout his pro career.
So have I.
And the dude's getting hit in the backfield, Skip. You're saying everything was going for 2 point whatever. He's getting hit in the backfield. You do understand great backs need offensive linemen.
Okay, so it's all their offensive
And good quarterback play.
Their offensive lines suck. Like, what are you talking about, Skip?
Okay. Yet, somehow Daniel Jones took that team to the playoffs.
No, Daniel Jones actually didn't take the team to the playoffs.
Oh.
Saquon Barkley played along with Daniel Jones, and they wind up squeaking into the playoffs.
They squeaked in, and then they squeaked out a victory at Kirk Cousins.
Everybody beats Kirk Cousins.
Oh, well, then, wait, you tell me he's it.
Everybody beats Minnesota and Kirk Cousins.
All right.
The Dallas Cowboys rolled in with Cooper Rush and hung 50 points on them. So stop.
They hung 50, but they went up there with Andy Dalton and won 1 year. I told you this the other day.
But Minnesota.
Now you're trying to use my argument against me.
Don't tell me about Minnesota. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay,
tell me about
but
Minnesota. You act like Minnesota is at the top of the heat in the NFC.
No, but I'm just saying they somehow made the playoffs just a year ago and won a playoff game on the road.
When you're in a division like Minnesota.
This is the dumbest thing ever, because he just said, he's now saying, look, they were able to make the playoffs, they were able to do this and that, but then he also said that since the fact that they were losing, that the Giants lost all these games, that it was Saquon Barkley's fault, that he couldn't lead them to a victory. But then they made it to the playoffs and even won a game, and yet that has nothing to do with Saquon Barkley? That makes no sense. How are you tagging him with the bad and then not crediting him with any of the good? That's absurd. Also, this title was obviously wrong about the Cowboys signing Barkley, how they would dominate the NFL. I don't know what that is. Maybe he does end up saying that, but so far, not at all. I mean, I'm stupefied by Skip's take, honestly. I just think that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. To think that Barkley, a running back, is going to be able to overcome all of the issues, the years of terrible coaching, the years of terrible quarterback play, the years of terrible offensive line, the years of terrible just offensive weapons in general outside of Barkley. You can only do so much as a running back. That's why the running back position has been devalued. Not necessarily because it's just not important, but it's because it's not enough of a game changer, because you need an offensive line. You need a pass game. So you need a good quarterback. You need good, like pass catchers, tight ends, wide receivers. You need those things for a running back to be able to succeed. Not to mention, you can get pretty good running backs for not a ton of money. So that's why the running back position has been, devalued over the years. Christian McCaffrey, although he played pretty well with the Panthers, he wasn't getting to Super Bowls. He wasn't getting to NFC Championship games. Is that Christian McCaffrey's fault? Should have he been able to just overcome everything with Carolina and just lead the Panthers to the NFC Championship games and Super Bowls? No. Now you bring him to Shanahan, an actual good, competent coach with other weapons and a competent quarterback. And what happens? Back-to-back NFC Championship games and a Super Bowl. Okay? That's what happens. So this is comically one of the dumbest takes I think I've ever heard Skip say. I mean, this is just absurd. Honestly, it really, really is. I'm dumbfounded. I can't even believe that he's trying to hang the lack of the Giants' success on Saquon Barkley. That's comical. And even if you want to grant this notion that he's a home run hitter with a lot of strikeouts, let's just say that's true, which I don't think it is. Let's just say it's true. A lot of teams win World Series that way. Have you not watched a baseball game in the last 20 years? That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. Hitting those bombs, getting those RBIs. You got players who are batting, 220, and yet they lead the team the league in RBIs, which is what matters more than anything, and home runs. They're putting up runs. So yeah, okay, let's just say that's accurate. That he can't, that he just gets 2-yard gain, 2-yard gain, 2-yard gain, and then rips off for like a 40, 50-yard gain. Those matter in games, okay? That's the difference. What do you think would have happened if Christian McCaffrey ripped off for like a 45-yard, 50-yard run in the Super Bowl? Do you think that would have made everything easier for Brock Purdy and the 49ers? Yeah, I'd say so. But again, I reject that opinion in the first place. He has been let out to dry with the Giants. The Giants aren't this prestigious organization. They haven't been winning. They don't have a great quarterback. They don't have great O-line. They didn't have great offensive weapons. Finally, they got Brian Daboll there, who's a legit coach who I think could be pretty darn good. But this idea that, the lack of success on Saquon, that's just insane. That's absurd. And I really hope the Cowboys don't get him. And I hope Barkley recognizes that if he plays with Philly and he takes like a decent deal and doesn't try to reset the market, he will make so much money on the back end, being part of Philly, being part of a massive city. Just the local ads you make alone will offset him playing anywhere else in that regard, okay? Not to mention, the Eagles have national appeal, okay? This is one of the biggest franchises, one of the most blue-blooded, blue-chip franchises in the NFL, without a question. So, it's not like you're going to be taking a hometown discount for like, again, the Carolina Panthers. This is Philly, major city. Everybody loves to play with Philly. Just ask Kelsey, and just ask other big personalities, T.O., McNabb, whoever. They all absolutely love it here. So I would love to see Barkley play with the Eagles. Then he gets to pretty much punch the Cowboys in the face twice a year, as well as the Giants. So this is actually a pretty exciting storyline. I would really love to see Barkley go to the Eagles. Wouldn't love to see him with the Cowboys. Would obviously have being an Eagles fan. But I think another interesting location would be for him to go to like a true championship competitor team. Whether it be, and again, this is kind of a random team, but again, it's just when you're trying to stack a team to be like, okay, we need to stack weapons. And I don't think we see this enough, but we saw the Cleveland Browns be able to do this when you have two stacked running backs. It really helps, but have him go to say like the Ravens or the Bills, and again, I'm not saying any of these are options, or go to the Texans. I think him with the Texans would be unbelievable. I mean, I think that would skyrocket them to the top of the AFC. Maybe not the tippy top, but who's going to want to face, CJ Stroud and Saquon Barkley? I mean, that is a deadly combo. So I'd love to see that. I've heard the argument of him going to the Chicago Bears, which I think is absurd and asinine. But, yeah, that's just the way I see it. But what are all your thoughts? Where would you like to see Saquon Barkley go? Do you think he's overrated, underrated? Do you think he deserves blame for the lack of Giants' success? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So if you think what I'm saying is either the most amazing thing or the dumbest thing you've ever heard, let me know. Either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really, really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.